Have you ever thought about what would happen if an undead wight joined the Night's Watch? You probably haven't, but now you have. So today we follow the story of a runaway wight on his quest to become the strongest commander in the Night's Watch and exterminate the filthy wildlings. Meet Ronnie Ribs. He's a wight, an undead servant summoned by the Night King himself to fight against the human pests south of the Wall. He even had a vital role in the Game of Thrones series. Yeah, he's really proud of it. And after millennia of quarrels with the local wildling population, he was determined to finally put an end to these futile battles. And in an unseen moment, he decided to escape the army of the Night King. But what now? He literally had nothing. He was weak and unable to defend himself to the local bandit groups. He needed to become stronger. So, after being captured for a few days by the bandits, Ronnie managed to escape and walk the icy plains until he spotted the wildling army of Thormund Giantsbane. Ronnie decided to follow them around until they engaged a small group of bandits. Ronnie jumped in to assist Thormund. What? Why are you looking at me like that? I have a rare skin condition.
I'm not so sure about that.
Thormund managed to win the fight and Ronnie quickly scavenged the battlefield. And while skillfully dodging the groups of wights that now saw him as a traitor, he took all the valuables he could carry far east to the city of Hardhome. Here he sold the goods and outfitted himself with basic armor and a scythe that perfectly fitted his beautiful facial features. And after that he recruited some lads from the local towns that were apparently desperate enough to join the company of a wight. I mean, a totally normal living human being with a rare skin condition. Time to hunt some bandits for some more cash. However, the groups of bandits were too fast for Ronnie's crew and we simply couldn't outrun them. After a few days of running after bandits, there was no money coming in, but the troop wages still needed to be paid. In a desperate attempt to make some money, Ronnie joined the tournament of the town of Frostfang's camp. And he was gently reminded of the fact that he sucks.
Shit, Jesus, that's pathetic.
He decided to hone his skills in the practice arena, and even though he only made 25 gold, it did improve his skills, all while giving him the satisfaction of bashing in some wildling skulls. This, however, still didn't make his party fast enough to catch up with small bandit groups, and Ronnie's group of 12 got ambushed by a group of 15 bandits. Since the enemy had archers, he commanded his own troops to stand in the tree line. They waited until the bandits got closer and then attacked. Ronnie's exposed bones crumbled quickly under the bandit's axe blow, and he got KO'd. However, the recruits actually managed to dispatch the rest of the bandits. This was a huge win for Ronnie. He put on some scavenged clothes and went to the nearest village to sell the remaining spoils. They traveled northward to Frostfang's camp when they saw the filthy wildling Rick attack a large group of wights. And Ronnie decided to once again set his hate for the wildlings aside and assist the wildling Rick. Ronnie was rewarded with a prisoner, who was actually a wight, an actual kinsman. Welcome, brother. After arriving at Frostfang's camp, Ronnie sold the rest of the loot and bought himself a horse with a saddle, to hopefully improve their travel speed a bit and make them able to catch up with small bandit groups. But sadly, they were still too slow. Once again, out of money and out of food, Ronnie got caught by a huge group of wights, seeking revenge on his treachery. Luckily, the army of some wildling named Mans Raider was close by and joined in the battle, which they barely managed to win. And this time we actually got a White Walker as a prisoner. One of these guys actually used to rule over Ronnie. Who's the boss now, huh? Ronnie retreated his troops to a nearby forest to take some rest, and then he saw him. The man who would change his life forever, Jon Snow, leading a huge army of the Night's Watch lords. Ronnie joined the fight alongside Snow's army, and he couldn't believe his eyes. The power of this army was unfathomable, their tactics unmatched. They led with their armies in front, who instantly started downing enemy wights. But Ronnie couldn't even get mad seeing his kinsman fall. He was actually impressed with what he saw. Like, just look at those kills. How can you not be impressed? When the wights came close, the archers fell back and the infantry took over. And without any problems, they destroyed the whole mass of wights. If this is what they were able to do against wights. Ronnie talked to Jon Snow, who invited him to participate in a local tournament in Castle Black, at the other side of the wall, which you can apparently just cross without any problem. Why is the wall even there?
You know nothing.
Anyway, Ronnie accepted the invite to the tournament. And actually managed to win it. The meeting with Jon, the winning of the tournament at Castle Black, it was a sign. At this moment, Ronnie knew exactly what he had to do. He needed to join the Night's Watch, the order that guards the realm of men to the threats lurking beyond the wall, and become the first commander in the Night's Watch that was an undead wight, and use this power to exterminate the filthy free folk once and for all, and avenge all of his fallen brethren. But as you can maybe tell by his looks, Ronnie wasn't really renowned enough to be able to become a member of the Night's Watch. He first needed to reach clan tier 1 for them to even consider hiring them as a mercenary. To level clan tier, you need renown, and for renown, you need to fight. So he traveled to the settlement of Lost Hearth south of the wall and bought some horses over here, because they had a lot available. Thanks to the horses, Ronnie's team was now able to travel the map a lot faster, and he went back beyond the wall to hunt the smaller groups of bandits. Back at Castle Black, he met Benjen Stark, who'd be a great steward for us if he wasn't freaking 4k to hire.
And that's expensive.
To boost his renown a bit, Ronnie accepted his first real quest, a merchant caravan transport, which got attacked, but they managed to defeat the enemies and hand in the quest. After that, he accepted a quest to go clap some poachers, but he managed to avoid the fight by rizzing the poacher himself, and they just left. Free money and free renown. After some more missions for the locals, Ronnie joined another tournament, and the prize was a true Night's Watch Ranger's hood. Ronnie had to win this. With that thing on, he'd feel like a true Night's Watch Ranger, and people will have a lot harder time noticing his skin condition. And while screaming out loud in white, Ronnie won the tournament. Our boy was making bank, and with this cash he went back to Benjen Stark, recruited him and made him a steward for the clan, allowing us to get a lot more troops in our party. Oh yeah, sorry Benjen. Thanks for the new drip. Who could have guessed that the Night's Watch armor would look so great on a wight? After that, we went back to the lovely Bannerlord grind, and Ronnie completed more and more quests for the local towns, the Night's Watch lords, and he managed to win some more tournaments. He also dipped into a new venture, raiding bandit hideouts, which was kinda time consuming, but extremely profitable. Within no time, Ronnie earned enough renown to reach clan tier 1, and he went out to see one of the Night's Watch commanders, Corin Halfhand, and asked him to join the Night's Watch as a mercenary. They accepted, and Ronnie was overjoyed. You know why? Apparently, the Night's Watch is at constant war with the free folk. Ronnie now had a wild card to go out and fight wildlings, and even get paid for it. However, them being always at war also meant that they were in a state of constant stalemate. Like they didn't conquer any of each other's fiefs since the beginning of the game. Ronnie needed to make the difference. His 60 men were going to join one of the sieges, and this is where everything changed. Ronnie joined the leader of the Night's Watch, Yera Mormont's army, who had a huge army of more than 800 men. They neared Crosser's Keep, who was already under siege by another Night's Watch army. We joined the siege, but we got gangbanged by 2 other huge armies. I'm not even sure what happened here, but we got totally and utterly destroyed. This was the craziest battle Ronnie ever witnessed. All of our allies were beaten, and this was a major setback for the Night's Watch. They had lost their biggest army, and it was also a major setback for Ronnie, who lost everything except the money in his pockets and the clothes on his body. His troops, gone. Inventory, food, weapons, and most of all, the 30 expensive horses, gone. Ronnie had bitten off a lot more than he could chew, and he decided to take a step back. Back to grinding quests and killing bandits. Thanks Tailworlds for this beautiful, beautiful grind. A few hours of grinding quests and tournaments later, Ronnie did some trading and met Lord Varys, who seems like a nice enough guy. He had 250 stewardship, probably making him the best steward available, increasing our troop cap by a wild 62 to a total of 107. Welcome to the team, Lord Varys. With an army this size and the archers fully trained because we grinded our freaking balls off, Ronnie felt confident enough to head back beyond the wall, where he managed to find the straggler wildling army. Time for revenge. Ronnie felt the power. With his newfound ability to clap lords as well as caravans, the money and renown was flowing in. And it only took a few fights for the Ribs clan to get to level 2, making us able to ask Lord Commander Yera Mormont to take us in as a true commander for the Night's Watch. He accepted and handed us our very own Night's Watch cloak. Meet Ronnie Ribs, the first undead wight to become a commander of the Night's Watch. We needed to grow in power, and it was time to increase Ronnie's army size even more. Since we joined the Night's Watch, we were able to now create an army, in which we can invite other Night's Watch commanders for the cost of influence. On top of that, we can create a second party with our boy Benjen as the leader, which we can recruit to our own army for free. This meant that we could now potentially bolster an army of more than 200 men. Ronnie Ribs was now a force to be reckoned with, and it was time to put a dent in this stalemate war between the Wildlings and the Night's Watch. Ronnie joined Commander Mormon's siege on Cross's Keep again, and this time they managed to win. This was a huge victory for the Night's Watch. The taking of this castle meant that the Wildlings were vulnerable. They could be defeated. Ronnie was proud, but he had to take some time off. See, Ronnie wasn't much of a medic, which made his troops recover really slowly from battle. And Ronnie decided to go on a trip to look for a better medic. The Night's Watch will manage great on their own, now that they have dented the Wildling defenses. So Ronnie went from town to town to look for a medic. But alas, not a single medic. While Ronnie was gone, the Night's Watch did pretty good and continued snowballing the Wildlings and captured another castle, which they actually granted to Ronnie. That's so nice, I didn't even participate in the siege. In our search for a medic, we did find some other companions, like One the Giant, just look at him, and we found Sir Benfrey the Lucky, who would be a great future party commander, but still no healer. We checked every freaking town in Westeros and traveled all the way to friggin' Essos to finally find a healer. We're glad you're here, Qburn. Let's head back from Essos to the frozen north now. It's friggin' hot down here. Ronnie returned back at the wall and felt readier than ever to go kick some Wildling butts, as he now had enough influence to muster an army of more than half of the Night's Watch commanders to go to take Castle Hornfoot. And under his command, it was easily taken. Ronnie kept mustering big armies and clapping huge groups of Wildlings. He leveled his clan to level 3 and created the third clan party with Lord Banfrey in command, who'd now also be free of influence to recruit in our mustered armies. Ronnie got an even bigger army and laid siege on Frostfang Keep. And without any difficulties, we took it over. The Night's Watch loved Ronnie. Just look at those opinion gains. They marched forth to Hardhome, expecting to find another easy win there. But sadly, it was far from it. Hardhome had a garrison far too big to be able to just take heads on. However, Ronnie had another trick up his sleeve. In order to construct as many siege equipment as possible, and they kept bombarding the city. And they just waited until the city's supplies dwindled. They waited. And waited. And waited. Until finally the opposing army had lost hundreds of men to the famine. Ronnie ordered to assault the city, and they killed the remaining hungry bastards and took over the town. At this point there were 6 Wildling thieves taken over. Only one more to go. To the few remaining Wildlings left in the frozen shore, prepare for your last stand. We laid siege to the lost refuge of the Wildlings, which, much like Hardhome, had far too many garrisoned troops. We used the same tactics as before, bombarding them for weeks on end until their supplies dwindled, and their troops died a slow death of hunger. However,
remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
yeah, I kinda forgot to keep an eye on the army cohesion. And our freaking employee, Sir Benfrey the Lucky, had left the army. You son of a bitch. So, the odds were kind of even now, since the defenders have a huge advantage in sieges. But there's no time to wait for more armies. We needed to engage in this last battle. The fight started and the enemy had much better defensive positions. But apparently, our siege equipment had managed to breach the castle walls on multiple places, giving us a very easy entry to the castle. Our troops rushed forward, and without their defensive walls to protect them, the Wildlings were nothing. And with the fall of the frozen shore, the Wildlings no longer had any foothold in the north. Ronnie did it. He managed to become the first undead commander of the Night's Watch, and he used the Night's Watch power to free the north of those pesky Wildlings that he'd been fighting for over 6,000 years. Ronnie felt what he was capable of without the oppression of the White Walker rulers. He felt the power and was ready for more. Who knows what kind of adventures the future holds? We might never find out. Or maybe we do. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And a special thanks to my patrons. You guys are special in a rare skin condition way. Be sure to click the next video to get cured of your skin condition. See you later, guys. Bye.